Hello once again everybody, and welcome back to Operation Genoa Bridge in Euro Truck Simulator 2. Up here of course we've done 4 jobs, 1 for the West Depot and 3 for the East Depot. So we've really got to do some more West Depot to try and bring that up to the same as the East Depot. So we'll have to take a job from the East Depot because that's where we are at the moment. So once we get where we're going, we'll try and find a job to the West Depot. Let's see, yes, it's still sorted by sender. So there's an East job here. There's another wheel loader though. There seems to be quite a few of those. See, scrap metals up there. That's another wheel loader, but to the West Depot. Let's see. More scrap metals, that's going to Florence this time. More West jobs. Jobs into Genoa itself. There's a couple of West jobs. There's another East job. That's a backhoe loader to Turin. So yes, we'll be doing this wheel loader job then. That's a decently long job, I think. Well, we certainly haven't been there before. So hopefully once we get there we can pick up a job going to the West Depot. Right, so here we are. Let's get going. So if you'll remember from one of the other previous episodes, we mentioned the fact that the bitrate on the video wasn't that great. So that has now been boosted. So this should hopefully look a bit better than last time. Speaking of that, you'll also remember that this isn't the original voiceover. I'm re-recording this. Because of technical difficulties with the previous one, it sounds terrible. So there won't be that much commentary on this, because I'm not going to copy everything I did last time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the trip. These toll booths, they're a bit tricky because you don't have to stop, but you've got to get the speed right. You've got to get the speed right so that you can keep going through them without having to slow down too much or come to a complete stop completely. That does prove to be rather tricky. I think we end up nailing it. It's around about 30 kilometers an hour, I believe. So just let this guy out the way. There we are. There's a fair amount of traffic around, considering it's only 3 in the morning. It's actually quite surprising. You'd think there'd be hardly anyone on the road at 3 in the morning, but there seems to be quite a lot. This game is usually pretty good at putting the right level of traffic on for the time of day. Maybe it's mostly trucks at this early in the morning. Yet another toll booth. Let's see if we get the speed right this time. So down to around about 30, a little under actually, 22. That wasn't so bad, was it? So I don't feel too bad about doing this, you know, keeping pace with the truck in the other lane, because there's the lane on the left for people to overtake you. So you're not holding up everybody. You know, people can still overtake if they want to. It's when trucks do this on a 2-lane highway that that becomes really annoying. That truck's dropping back now. Great. We're just seeing the start of dawn. Wonderful. We may see the sunrise while we're going. So I'm not a big fan of those sorts of junctions because it's a really tight turn and 40km speed limit, which is, you know, understandable. But you then end up going up a fairly steep hill. So you bleed off all your momentum and then you have to keep going on up a hill, and you need the power in your engine to do that. And this is definitely an interesting bit of road here through these toll booths. The traffic going straight through doesn't have to go through the toll booth, but if you're coming off, you do. You'd think you'd just stick the toll booth on the road that comes off, but they've decided to do it this way here. It's quite interesting. Because it now looks as if you're going back onto the main road. It doesn't look as if you're coming off here. So yeah, we've got to be in the right lane. The map doesn't really help you on this junction, because It's a really weird road layout. I remember it before from the ProMods profile when I was exploring every road. And I remember it took me ages to do this network of roads. So on my ProMods profile I'm trying to 100% all the roads. Thank you SCS for keeping track of which roads I've been on and which I haven't, because I've got to do them all now. My completionist tendencies won't allow me to just leave it. If you keep track of it, I've got to clear them all. But yeah, with the ProMods and the Middle Eastern expansion, it's taken me about 2 years of playtime to get to about 55% done. And of course, they keep changing things. You've got to go back and re-explore the new roads they do. But anyway, these new cities they've been putting in lately are a lot better, a lot more interesting than the old ones. So if you compare this city to one of the original ones, it just doesn't compare. It's just nowhere near the same quality. I mean, look, you've got all these buildings around here. So much better than just a little industrial estate. So I remember what the original Euro Truck Simulator was like, number 1, and that was very small, and you have to pay to get access to countries, so you'd pick your first one strategically, and then you'd have to expand your business to afford to do jobs into other countries. And if you try to drive into another country, there'd be one of those flashy barriers to stop you. So here we are. Thankfully that hasn't taken anywhere near half our fuel. So we'll have to fill up at some point, but we should be good for a job on the way back. Just 132 litres of fuel, and we're nearly 100 World of Truck contracts done. So if we sort by destination, we might stand a bit more of a chance of actually finding what we're looking for. So let's see, it's K, L, so we need to go back. Wow, no, that was G. There's just one thing going back to the west one. Is that really the same one we just delivered? So was there really any point in taking that here if it's just going back to the west depot? There's this diesel job. It's a change from the heavy equipment, but that's going to the eastern depot. That's the only one going where we want to go. So we'll have to take it. Why didn't they just transfer it from one site to the other? Doesn't make logistical sense. Well, we'll just have to pretend it's a different piece of equipment, or that it's had to come here for repair and then get sent back out. Yeah, we'll go with that. It had to come back here for repair. I mean, it'd be great if we could actually take some supplies there, rather than just very heavy equipment around. Just a bit of variety. So, there we go. Alright. So once we do this job, we'll be halfway through. Doesn't sound bad that way. So it's pretty much back the way we came. So we're really spoiled with Euro Truck Simulator 2, with the size of the map, the design of the cities. Oh, hang on. No, we're not going this way. Not entirely sure why I went this way at first. So thankfully, because of the design, we only have to go through the toll booth once. Because of the weird design of this junction. Yeah, if you take your eye off the map, you don't know where you're going, and you'll get lost. Because the map shows that you needed to go left, but how far left? I mean, you look at it here, there's a bit of a right and a bit of a left, and then there's a bit of road which goes over, but you can't tell that on the map. But anyway, yes, Euro Truck Simulator 2 really spoils us with the size of the map, all of the DLCs, and the vastly improved city design, and the fact it looks a lot better. And it actually has name brand trucks, because you know, looking back on Euro Truck Simulator 1, you had almost nothing in that. You know, none of the trucks were licensed from the manufacturers, so they had to have fake names. the map was absolutely tiny and the cities were really basic. The first Euro Truck Simulator did include a bit of the UK up to Manchester, but it was at a much smaller scale than it is now, and there were only maybe 4 or 5 cities. It was incredibly basic. A lot of people don't realise there was actually a UK truck simulator which has a lot more cities, went all the way up into Scotland, and in fact the UK truck simulator map became the UK in Euro Truck Simulator 2. It's pretty much identical. So until SCS do a rebuild of the UK, that's essentially what all the cities look like in Euro Truck Simulator 1, because it's all from that same era. Interesting little time capsule. I wouldn't bother going back to either of those games though, not now that we've got this, because the gameplay is pretty much the same. I mean, yes, you've got special transport jobs now and all the rest of it, but I wouldn't bother going back. So of course, now that we know that these junctions have slip roads rather than dropping a lane and then picking a lane up again, we can actually stay in the right hand lane and not have to keep pulling out and changing lanes. Because it's strange, because some countries like doing that. Some countries like dropping a lane and then picking one back up again. I mean, it's good because it means that you don't have to it means you don't have to merge. You know, when you come down the slip road and just stay in the lane and you're on the motorway. So that train station is rather interesting. Noticed it on the way in. It didn't really stand out because it was dark at the time, but now it's definitely getting lighter. So yes, my plan for Euro Truck Simulator 2 after we finish this operation is I'm going to go down to the Middle East. You know, we'll have an episode of us driving down there and having a little look around, and then I'll try and pick the longest job I can from that area, heading back hopefully to the UK or maybe even Iceland if there is one, and we'll just do a massive job in one episode. Might be 2 or even 3 hours. It's going to be great. You know, I'd very much like to do a really long one. Might have to take a break halfway through, of course. But yeah, that'll be quite an epic trip. So remember to always check your mirrors before you change lanes, because you never know who's coming up behind you. So I definitely prefer the ones where you go straight through and don't have to stop. But yeah, we got the speed wrong a bit on that one. All the way down to 17. That is a bit too slow. That is a bit too slow. I mean, modern tolls are a lot better. Modern tolls are a lot better because they just read your number plate and then you go on the website and pay afterwards. You know, it means you don't have to stop, you don't have to have people in toll booths. You don't have to have all the land and buildings associated with toll booths. It saves a lot of money. You know, if you're going to put a toll on the road, you might as well do it that way. I have to admit, the Swiss have the right idea, because if you want to use the motorways, you have to buy what's essentially a little permit that you stick in your windscreen. You do that when you cross the border into the country, or I think you can do it at various shops. So yes, if you don't want to use the motorways, you know, you can use the regular roads and you don't have to pay. But if you want to use the motorways, you pay for your permit. It lasts for the calendar year, or at least I believe it does. So if you go in July, it'll last all the way up to the end of December. There's no way around that. I think it's just because they print a whole batch of these permits for the whole year and they just leave it at that. I'm not sure if you get a discount if you buy it halfway through the year. It would make more sense if they did that. You know, if you arrived in July, you'd only have to pay half, because, you know. But yeah, I definitely think that's the best way to do it. It's one payment up front, and then that's it for the rest of your holiday. I don't know how the residents feel about it, but it certainly beats having to stop at toll roads, you know, 2 or 3 times a day if you're going places. So look, here's another one. So we're just going to try and get the speed right this time. Here we go. See, we slowed down a little bit too much there again. Because you never know, is that barrier going to raise? Am I going to hit the barrier? I better not. Come on, lift the barrier. There we go. So essentially what I'm going on about at the moment in my previous commentary, which was scrapped, is essentially the fact that I get my left and right mixed up sometimes when I'm driving on the right. It seems that the way that my brain copes with driving on the right rather than the left, which is what I'm used to in real life, is that it treats it as if I'm in a mirror universe. So it flips my whole concept of left and right. So unless I actually think about that and correct myself, I might say that I'm currently in the left-hand lane rather than the right-hand lane, because my brain has treated the world as if it's viewed through a mirror. It's quite strange. So yeah, so I'm still making loan payments. I've got a load of cash, and yet I have a loan still. So why don't I just pay off that loan? We'll have to do that at some point. I'm making all these loan payments, and interest and everything. So this is where I noticed that my fuel has dropped at the halfway mark, and I start thinking about finding somewhere to stop. So this is the first toll booth where I've actually decided to try and experiment with what speed to go through it. So I'm doing 30 now, and that's a little bit too fast, but I noticed at the time that that toll booth is actually quite a bit shorter than the others. So maybe the trigger point for the barrier actually raising is a little bit closer. This is also where I notice my my little speeding habit. I mean, it comes from the Pro Mod profile, of course, and not having any traffic or anything else sharing the road with me, so I can just put the hammer down and go for it and explore roads as fast as possible. But this is also where I notice just how strange this bit of road is. This great big loop through the tunnel, where they've obviously built one of these tunnels first, probably this one, and then they thought, right, well, we need to widen the road, so we'll just put in a new carriageway. So it's just strange that this bit loops all the way around like this, you know, just to gain a bit of height. It is really quite a strange piece of road engineering. They must have had some unique problem to solve, because you wouldn't do that normally. So yes, we come out, we do this great big loop, and then we go around over this side of the valley, rather than heading straight across and going over there. So it must obviously have been trying to save money by going this way. To try and make the tunnels as short as possible. So you need to pay attention so that sudden lane closures like that don't just come up and take you by surprise. So they've got a crane there, so has someone gone off the edge? So yes, at these sorts of junctions, that lane does come off to the right. See, I'm doing that thing again. I almost said left. So it's 40 miles an hour around this corner, which is fairly slow, but it is a fairly tight turn. Whoa, this guy really slammed his brakes on. Keep going. There's nothing on the main road. Keep going. The worst thing you can do is stop on a slip road. So, momentary lapse of concentration there. where I drift lanes. So let's see the covered up signs. We're nearly there. So we need to slow down a bit. We really ought to be slowing down. Oh look, we've got people who don't know what lane they're meant to be in. You know you can't go straight on, you know you've got to come off. Give it a honk. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button. The G button for the garage list is right next to the H button for the horn. There we go. Oh, look at this guy cutting me up. Oh dear. Well, it just shows the AI is quite realistic. The AI is very realistic because you just know. You know that in real life people are going to be doing that. You know it. And here we are. Another delivery. All nice and safe. But it's funny how that delivery's there rather than off to the right, where it usually is. And there we are. Job done. All that money, and that was really quite a long way. And of course, a long way out means a long way back. But at least that's 2 jobs for the West Depot and 4 for the East. That's 6 jobs, and we're now halfway. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, remember to click the like button and hit subscribe if you'd like to see more. Remember to join us for the next video. Goodbye.